This video right here is in regards to Aboriginal power and the Aboriginal community and their beliefs that it's impossible to actually find an ancestor from a slave ship in Africa to America and have descendants today. All right, so what he said on this video I seen recently is that there's nobody in the entire world, United States, that can actually find an ancestor who came from a slave boat to the United States. I'm gonna show you how easily this is debunked. All right, I'm gonna let you hear the clip that he quoted this information, so he can stop talking about this false information that they're providing out there.
She can't do her genealogy live because the simple fact is it ain't gonna do nothing but lead to one of these 50 states over here that we call North America. They can't even leave themselves on a goddamn slave ship. I'll wait for one person right now to show me one of their ancestors got off of one slave ship. I'll wait. I'll shut the fuck up and won't say Africans. I won't say another word. If one African, anybody can show me that they got off of one African slave ship, I'll shut the hell up right now.
Exactly, because it ain't there. But she called herself.
She can't do her genealogy live.
Our search began in Philadelphia, where Questlove was born and raised, but it quickly moved south. His maternal grandfather, a man named Robert Lewis, was born in Mobile, Alabama in 1904. And using Alabama census records, we were able to go back 3 more generations on this side of his family tree. Now, this is a page of the 1900 federal census right here from Mobile, Alabama.
Joseph Lewis, head of household, age 30. Eugenia Lewis, wife, 27.
Have you ever heard those names, Joseph and Eugenia?
No, I never knew where I came from. I don't think anyone really had a clue.
Joseph and Eugenia are Questlove's great-great-grandparents. It appears that they lived their entire lives in Mobile, much of that time under Jim Crow segregation. Records show that Joseph was a day laborer who worked at a lumber mill, and Questlove couldn't help but reflect on the immense gap between his ancestors' fortunes and his own.
I'm wondering if Joseph Lewis imagined me, imagine that maybe there was a time where, a descendant of his could thrive
and be successful and make it in
be alive
and make it in mainstream America.
I'm thinking this period just to navigate and survive, to make it from childhood to teen to adulthood,
a full-time job.
Raise, it's a challenge. And
Joseph Lewis was born around 1870, which means that his parents were almost certainly newly freed slaves. As we tried to learn about their lives before emancipation, we faced a significant obstacle. Enslaved people weren't listed by name in most public documents, so it can be extremely difficult to find them in the historical record. But in Questlove's case, we got lucky. We were able to identify Joseph Lewis's parents, and this led to an almost unbelievable discovery. This is a page of the 1880 federal census, Amir, from Mobile, Alabama. Would you please read the transcribed part of the census?
Charles Lewis, age 60. Maggie Lewis, age 50. Joseph Lewis, age 11.
Amir,
so that's his parents?
You just met your third great-grandparents, your great-great-great-grandparents. These are your people. This is your blood.
In Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. And we're back 200 years.
Oh, wow.
Would you please turn the page?
That's the best book I've ever read in my life, man.
Would you please read where your ancestors were born?
Oh, my God.
You hit the jackpot.
Oh, man.
According to the census, Questlove's third great-grandparents were both born in Africa. This was an extraordinary find. Very few African Americans are ever able to trace their ancestors back to Africa by name.
Charles Lewis, age 60, place of birth, Africa. Maggie Lewis, age 50, place of birth, Africa.
How do you feel?
I'm not overacting. I'm not. Yeah, I am at a loss for words. I'm just so overwhelmed right now because until an hour ago, I didn't know who I was. I said I wasn't going to cry, man. I didn't know who I was or who I came from.
Everyone has seen that I just disproved Aboriginal power, that no one actually could find an ancestor from a slave ship from Africa to America. Questlove and his family are actually descendants of the Catilda, the last slave ship from Africa to the United States from Benin, Africa. All right. So I want him to shut up with all this nonsense that he's talking about. All right, let me read this little article I just found about Questlove and his ancestry. These eyes, said the artist Questlove, as he started at the photo of his ancestor Charlie Lewis. We have the same eyes. Questlove had just discovered that Lewis had arrived in Mobile, Alabama in July of 1860 on the Catilda, the last known slave ship to the United States. Lewis and another 110 young men and women embarked at Odine, Benin, and enslaved for 5 years as they recovered their freedom in 1865. Some regrouped in northern Mobile and founded their own small town known as Africa Town. All right. So if for people that don't know this about Alabama, there's a town in Alabama called Africa Town. This is where the descendants of the Catilda and other Africans relocated and started a town. So just easily disproved what he just said. All right. Thanks. Smoke, get 'em. Free smoke, get 'em. Free smoke, get 'em. Debunked, get out of here.